Good morning, everybody. If you could grab a bottle of water and sit down, we'll begin our meeting. And the order of the meeting has changed slightly. And we're going to start, before we have a formal opening of the meeting, with one scholarship presentation. And the reason we're doing this is we have the presenter is in Massachusetts on his phone, and the recipient is in Minnesota on her phone. And they're set to go at this particular time. So we'll do that first, and then we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and all the other stuff. All right? So here we are with the presentation. And just so you know, the young fellow presenting it was a scholarship winner last year and the grandson of Linda Osborne, who was president here for many years.
Thank you. So hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Curley, and I'm so thrilled to be here presenting the scholarship today. For those of you who don't know, I'm the 2019 scholarship recipient, a longtime fan of the Alden Haunted House at Halloween, and most importantly, grandson of Linda Osborne. Now, before I hand things off to our amazing recipient, I want to take a moment and speak about why this scholarship is so important. And this scholarship is so important because it serves as a reminder that at one point or another, we all come from different places and have different backgrounds, but one way or another, we all end up together. And it's so important that once we end up together, we make the most out of every opportunity we're given, and we do best by the people around us. So Molly, I ask that on behalf of the Alden Kindred of America, you accept this scholarship and do best by those who are around you and take advantage of every opportunity. Congratulations, good luck in all of your endeavors. Feel free to take it away.
Oh, thank you. Wow. I would just like to say thank you so much for this generous scholarship and this honor. Your guys' support means a lot to me and my family, although we just learned about our heritage not too long ago. And it's a really great opportunity to continue my education, and hopefully on that journey, I will contribute my own new accomplishments to the Alden family name. I had so much fun learning about how our family was connected to the Pilgrims and the Mayflower and researching all the Alden family stories this summer. It's so amazing to be part of such an interesting part of history. Although I couldn't make it to the reunion this year because of all sorts of random complications and COVID, of course, I can't wait to meet everybody in person and come and see the house and everything. Thank you again so much for your support and generous gift. And I can't wait to come see you guys in person.
Thank you, Molly. And thank you, Ryan. And both of you have a wonderful year at college, much better than last year on college campuses. So good luck, and do come and visit us. We'll be looking for you, Ryan, for sure, but we'd love to have you come out. We have some people from Minnesota here today. Where are they? In the back and right there. Okay. Thank you very much. I hope that you'll continue listening to the Zoom meeting. Okay. So let's get back on the track of the agenda, and it's a tradition to ring the Alden bell. And last year was the first time we did it virtually, and we had this all planned that we ring it 4 times, each for 100. So we did, but I'm going to do it again, and I'm giving it a 5th ring for the year after the 400. Okay, are we ready? Oh, 4.5. And I would call on the Plymouth Guard and Trevor Magnan and Alden from Vermont to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you all stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And unless somebody volunteers to sing the national anthem, we'll invite Reverend Peter Smith up here to do the invocation. Thank you, Peter. Be careful with them.
Yep. Thank you, Pauline. Sure, no, your problem. No problem at all. Good. Okay. Very good. It's a privilege to be part of this gathering, and I invite us now to join in a spirit of prayer. Almighty God, we give you thanks for the heritage shared of community, of creating community amidst hardship, of overcoming challenges, and even infectious disease. All these challenges, the heritage of John, Priscilla, Alden, and their not only their family, but also their community members, give us a resource that our country and our world need desperately. And so we pray that not only would you renew in each of us, whether present physically or virtually, those characteristics, but also enable this association to share that story that is of such need in our world at this time. Put your hand over these proceedings, strengthen a resolution to use the resources you've given us in all manners to the benefit of neighbor near and far, and to the honor and glory of your name, in which we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Peter. He does a wonderful job. And his significant other, Carol, is the manager of our office. So they're a wonderful Alden duo here. Thank you. Yeah. You may know, or you may have read in the literature that we are twinning with, that's like sister city, but in England is twinning with Dorking. And so we thought it appropriate to have a greeting from Dorking this morning. And some of you may have tried the cake over here. That came from Dorking. They packaged it up and sealed it up and sent it to us today to share. They run the bakery there that is in the house of Priscilla Mullen. All right.
Hello everybody, Margaret Cooksey here, Chairman of the Dorking Town Twinning Association. I'm hoping to be with you at your meeting on Saturday on the Zoom call, but in case the technology doesn't work, this video is to say hello to everybody at the reunion, to wish everybody well from our people here in Dorking, and to hope you have a very happy day. I'm with Basil and Susan in the Mullins coffee shop. As you can see, I've been well looked after, having a cup of tea with their lovely teapots in this remarkable house that belonged to William Mullins, with the original fireplace here, the original staircase and door, and on the other side of the room is another original wall with all the history and the information about William Mullins. And it's such a wonderful place to be, not just because of the history, but because of the ambience here, and because Basil and Susan have taken so much care to reintroduce the history of William Mullins into this house, which is so important in terms of Dorking. Basil's going to add some film of Dorking town itself, and so I hope you're going to enjoy that. I'm not sure whether it comes before or after me, but hopefully you'll enjoy seeing the sights. At the moment, we've got lots of flowers around the town, and we've got our Mayflower boats, and that our men shed at the neck full of flowers, and the whole place is looking lovely. Though summer isn't as nice as we'd like it to be, it's a bit miserable this morning. It's been very wet over the weekend. Last night we had torrential rain. So summer is going by without it being as lovely as we'd like it to be, but Dorking town is looking beautiful. And we would really hope that we'll be able to have some visitors in September for our Heritage Open session events, and that you'll be able to see our wonderful erection of the Mayflower ship's mast, and the depiction of what a difficult journey that must have been. It's the most beautiful piece of artwork, and I'm very proud of it. So it would be lovely if we had visitors over to be able to see it. I know Basil has sent photographs, and hopefully we'll be able to see how really lovely it is. Now, I think that's enough talking from me for today. Have a wonderful reunion, and all the very best from everyone here in Dorking. I hope to see people soon. Bye for now. Bye.
So there's a big celebration there this year. They've been closed down as well between September 11th and September 19th. And we have somebody in this room that's going. Raise your hand. Where are you, Christopher? Christopher's going. And maybe you could talk to Ann, because she's going to be over in Ireland sometime, and maybe she's drop over as well. Anyway, we have developed this relationship with Dorking, and they have come here with bread, and now they've sent bread, but we are working with the town on an official twinning. This is the year to put it together and then be officially twinned probably by next year. It's a more ceremonial kind of thing, but it's kind of neat, and it reinforces the story of Priscilla and where she came from. Thank you very much. We love to hear from you. Okay, the minutes of the last meeting, I call on Evelyn Walker, our very adept secretary of the board. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. The full minutes are on page 21 of your report. So this is a synopsis. The Alden Kindred's 120th annual meeting was held on August 1st, 2020. Due to the COVID-19 virus, large gatherings were prohibited by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, so the meeting was held on Zoom. A few participants met outside at the Alden Historic Site. President Pauline Kaiser gavelled the meeting to order at 10:32 a.m. with the ringing of the Alden bell 4 times to celebrate 400 years and once more to celebrate 120 years of this gathering of Aldens and friends. Reports and summaries of printed reports were given by the following: Evelyn Walker on the previous annual meeting, Alden Kaiser on finance, Gary Campbell on membership, Linda Osborne on the scholarships, which were given to friend S. Weiler III, Timothy Alden Baker, and Julia Saltini. Rich Holmes awarded the Aspiring Priscilla Award to Bernadette Farmer. Alicia Crane Williams gave tributes to 2 outstanding and long-term Kindred members, Kat Randall and Linda Osborne. Rich Holmes performed the annual traditional roll call. Because the meeting was held on Zoom, attendance showed a much broader geographic representation than usual. Christopher Lee reported on lineage applications and approvals. Pamela Campbell-Smith presented the slate of nominations for new officers. All reports and nominations were unanimously approved. Executive Director Desiree Mobed reported on the many changes wrought by the coronavirus pandemic, including many tour cancellations. Nevertheless, there was considerable virtual programming. The haunted house did take place, as did preservation work on the front door and threshold of the house, as well as a preservation survey of the chimney. In addition, Desiree acknowledged the considerable generosity this year from members and friends, including donations to the annual fund and grants from the Rockwell Foundation, the Rockwell Trust Foundation, and several other sources. Partnering with several organizations for Duxbury 2020, a Pilgrim era map and guide were created, and a volume of 12 essays entitled Duxbury, Our Pilgrim Story was published. 3 of the articles have direct relevance to John and Priscilla. President Pauline Kaiser announced the Kindred's receipt of a Massachusetts Cultural Council matching grant for the feasibility study for the Alden Center for Living History, a large addition to the barn, which Pauline believes is very doable with donations large and small. An anonymous donor has promised to match the first $500,000 raised. Pauline spoke eloquently of the similarities between 1620 and 2020. Many planned activities were blown off course and illness besieged the land. The meeting was adjourned at 12:05 p.m.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor of accepting the minutes, raise your hand or say aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. I'd like to thank you, Evelyn, for this is her synopsis. Her minutes are phenomenal, and it's so great to have them and to have you. I would ask Alden Kindred to come up and give the treasurer's report, and it's a good one, right? Considering the year.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Alden Kindred, as Pauline said. Before I start, I'd like to mention what we did last night. We had this Chowder Fest. I can see a lot of faces that were at the Chowder Fest, but if you missed it, you missed something pretty good. And there was also, I don't know who brought that chili, but
Kate Ullman, one of our
boy, that was fabulous chili. So if you come next year, make sure and come to the Chowder Fest if we have one.
Chowder and chili.
Yeah, make sure the person that made that chili comes to the Chowder Fest, exactly. The financial statements are in your program book. If you don't have a program book, they're on page 23 and 24. If you don't have a program book, it really doesn't make any difference. I'll walk you through it. I will note that on page 23, in paragraph 3, there is a minor glitch. You will note that statement of position appears at the end of that paragraph. And actually that sort of is a hangover from last year's report. The actual report statement of position follows after that, but somehow that it didn't want to die. It wanted to stay around, and it's in this report, this year's report too. Blame it on the computer. As you know, it was an extremely tough year for every organization who was out there due to what's going on in the country. What you really need to know is what's written on the middle of the page on page 24, which shows the operational gain and loss for the organization. We did bring the year through with an operational gain. This is thanks to the board, Desiree, her crack staff, and all of our wonderful volunteers. Our financial position is quite strong. The endowment fund, the stock market had a good year. The endowment fund grew. People are donating to the capital campaign. And that's about all I'm going to say with this, unless there are any questions. Being no questions, I will entertain a motion to accept the financial report. Second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, before I sit down, I just wanted to say a few words about the capital campaign, which you all know about. John and Priscilla were only 2 out of 102 passengers on the Mayflower. Half of the passengers on the Mayflower died in the first winter. So that meant we had roughly 50 survivors of the people that came over on the Mayflower. Even so, it is estimated that there are now 30 million descendants of the Pilgrims living today. This is a number that is disputed in some quarters, but it's not exact, but it's a large number for sure. As Aldens, we are very, very lucky to have our own site. It is really the only thing like it to survive from Pilgrim time. So we feel we have a duty to celebrate and commemorate not only the Aldens, but all the families who bravely settled in this area and the cultures they interacted with. The Pilgrim era is our bag. To do this properly, we need to fund the maintenance of this property. This house is, as you know, an antique, and all antiques require a lot of maintenance, expensive maintenance by specialized people. And we need to upgrade our educational facilities. That's what this campaign is about, and I hope that you all agree with me. I'm going to end by reading a quote by author and poet William A. Ward. Before you speak, listen. Before you write, think. Before you spend, earn. Before you invest, investigate. Before you criticize, wait. Before you pray, forgive. Before you quit, try. Before you retire, save. Before you die, give. Thank you.
I like that, Alden. It's very well said. And Alden's always right to the point person, so that's a perfect quote for you to give. Thank you very, very much. And believe me, if there's like 4 posts the holding this house up, you're one of them. Thank you very much. And just so you know, we're just gonna hold this up for a minute. Just imagine if we had a way to teach and educate that had some ability to have some people in a chair listening to a film, listening to a lecture, et cetera, because you know how crowded that little room is upstairs to squeeze into. In fact, you need to squeeze into it today, first of all, because it's air conditioned and there's a bathroom, but secondly, because the silent auction is up there and we need you to bid on things, because that's part of the way we finance the tent and everything else that comes today. All right, moving along. We have other scholarships other than the one that was given virtually. And I'm going to call on Desiree Moved to tell us about the Donald Young's, we did the Donald Young, the museum one and the Charlton Foundation one. Thank you.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome. Really excited to be here today and share this wonderful event with you. So our scholarships are divided, and they really are divided today. We heard certainly that wonderful presentation from Ryan. We also give another scholarship. It's called the John and Priscilla Alden Scholarship to a Duxbury High School graduate. And yes, this year, the recipient is Weston Moran, who is somewhere on a cool lake in New Hampshire today, but he did share a video that we're going to go ahead and play for you.
Hi everyone, my name is
This is where we say, wait for it. It's coming. It's coming.
Weston Moran, and I am a recent graduate of the Duxbury High School class of 2021, and I am so honored to have received a generous scholarship from the Alden House as I prepare to begin my next journey and attend Boston University this fall. This scholarship will help support me in paying for my tuition and textbooks I feel very lucky to have received it. I thank the Alden House for their continued support of me and all my fellow peers at Duxbury High School from past and future graduating classes. Further, I continue to be inspired by their role in our community as they work to educate all Duxbury
So we also want to announce the recipient of this year's Charlton Foundation Scholarship. And this is a very new scholarship that we are partnering with the Charlton Foundation on. Charlton Foundation was founded by the son and family of the man who built Mayflower 2, a place that a ship that we all know and love. His name is Randall Charlton, and his family is very interested in continuing in the tradition of his father's wishes to further the relationship between England and America. And this year, he awarded his $1,000 scholarship to intern Speak for Thyself, aspiring Speak for Thyself recipient, and our wonderful Alden guide, Maya Stahl. So she did receive that at the Speak for Thyself Award 2 nights ago, but we certainly appreciate Randall's support and look forward to working with him in the future.
We have 2 board members who are retiring this year, mainly because, oh my goodness. This is timing. Adrian, come right in here. There's 2 seats up here. 3. Well, we'll find 3 seats for you. Adrian, she can't hear me. Right up here. In she comes from Florida. Oh my gosh. The timing is remarkable. I was just saying we have 2 people stepping off the board this year because we have term limits, 2 3-year terms. And I would just acknowledge Jan Phillips, who's not here, from Plymouth, who is, here you go, right here, right up here. Yes, come on, Kaz. Front row center. So, and then we have Adrian Sumner. I have to spend some time on Adrian. Adrian, I was just saying who's retiring from the board, and in you walk from Florida. Oh my gosh. And 2 days, because she didn't think she was going to be able to come. Her father lives in Alaska and was having a medical issue and thought she was going to Alaska. So I'm surprised, happily. But Adrian brought her sunshine and talents to the board 6 years ago. So she now steps off, hopefully not for a long time, and you'll come back or come back in a different capacity. But how many of you belong to the Facebook page, Mayflower Descendants of John Priscilla? Right. This is your mama. She tends that like a garden. She writes about the Alden family. She does it so well. She tells us about her family. Sometimes you, Adam, but mostly Kaz, right? And so we've become long distance friends, and we're thrilled that you're here today. So we can say thank you for what you've done on the board. So let's give her a hand. Now it goes beyond that. How many of you have viewed the film that we made this year? Quite a number. It's online. Do you recognize her? She's the star of the show, right? Yes, she is. But ably assisted by Terry River, who's not here, Alden Porter, anyone else here? Russell, who's not able to attend this year, but he not only has talent in that area, but he had money to go with it. So, oh, Desiree does everything. So we're going to talk about Desiree a little bit longer later on. So Adrian, I want to thank you personally, and I'm so glad it's in person, for what you've done. And I know your involvement will continue. I just wanted to say thank you. Okay. And I brought it just in case you showed up. Maybe she showed up because I brought it. I don't know. But, well, thank you. And we'll catch up in a minute. I'm going to call on Christopher Lee. Christopher is our genealogist. And Christopher is going to also give the genealogy report. And That's later on the nominations report, but first genealogy.
Hello there. So we've had an interesting year on the genealogical front, and we had 102 lineages come in, 94, so there's a little bit of discrepancy here because of when we tallied them, 94 distinct lineages and 6 multiple family member lineages over the course of the year. This is more than double the previous 2 years. So that's an achievement. And the main thanks that are due for this is Bob. The main thanks here are due to our genealogical verifier. He's listed as a genealogist's assistant in the annual program. He's properly a genealogist in his own right. He's our genealogical verifier, and we would not have achieved even a tiny fraction of this without his significant efforts on the genealogical front. He's just been amazing. So we owe Bob a round of applause, please. And a little bit fun for me here is typically the Elizabeth Alden descendants massively outnumber everybody else. However, this year, our Joseph just got a little bit ahead. So Alden Porter, Alden Kaiser, wherever you are. And it's been a wonderful year for Joseph descendants. Joseph followed by Elizabeth. Our Ruth descendants come in third with 14 new lineages. Then our David descendants coming up in the ranks this year with 12. Sarah Alden Standish comes in with 11. Rebecca Alden Delano with 3. We have Rebecca descendants in the room. We have some Delanos in the room. Jonathan Alden of the Alden House with 2 lineages this year. And then the wayward, mysterious, mystiquey John Alden Jr. with 2 as well. So we've got them all represented though, which is very good. So congratulations to our new lineage members, and particularly, don't worry, Brad Bittenbender, who received his paperwork today or yesterday. Where are you, Brad? Brad is one of those Elizabeth descendants, usually in the lead. And Brad is in Rentham, Massachusetts, and became an officially verified lineage member yesterday. And I have the paperwork to return here for Amy Andrzejek, or Andrzejek. Are you here? Well, when she's here, we have her approved lineage papers. And so coming in as an approved member today. In terms of the genealogy, we've had new bits of research going on in Dorking, England, thanks to a number of people who have written in that they've been there. And as yet, no new discoveries. However, we look hopefully forward to, especially with the twinning, the Twin City, Twin Town project, of having more interaction there with Dorking and potentially new discoveries in the Mullins heritage, which is Priscilla's heritage. And that concludes my genealogist's report for this annual meeting.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Christopher, for the work you do. And he's like a walking encyclopedia, by the way. And Bob Holmes, thank you as well. And I'm calling now on that infamous Delano, Tom Delano. Tom is on our board of directors, a great new member of this first term. And he's here to give the communications report.
Actually, membership. Yeah, Gary Campbell, your membership chairman, unfortunately can't be here. He's dealing with some health issues, so we wish Gary speedy recovery. So let me just start out by saying we have 181 new members in the past year, of which 8 were life, 108 were individual, and 65 families. So that's 181. And right now we have 2,212 billing members and 2,577 current members. So all in all, pretty good, particularly in the COVID year. As many of you know, or all of you know, membership of the Alden Kindred is open to anyone interested in preserving the Alden House. Certifying your lineage to John and Priscilla is a separate process, which our genealogist, Christopher, who you just heard from, has told you all about. But also member dues, with the number of members we have, are a very critical part of the annual budget for preserving this historical landmark. One of the few remaining authentic Pilgrim family properties, as we know. And as a Delano, I'm very jealous, very jealous. We have no house, no nothing. So I have a little Alden envy here, let me just say. Dues are $40 a year, and they continue to be. And for the individual, $60 for family. And if you're an old guy like me, over 60, it's life membership is $500 a year, or $1,000 for under 60. So membership has its benefits, as you know, or may not know. Members enjoy free admission to the house, the virtual programs, and of course a discount on many of the items sold in the house. So that's well worth renewing. And then new this year, you might have noticed we have an automatic renewal option through a PayPal account. So if you keep your PayPal account linked to the site, you will automatically renew. So that's pretty much about it. Please spread the word. It's a wonderful organization and working hard to preserve the marvelous asset, the historical asset that you have here. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you for reminding people how important it is to have your membership and membership dues, because sometimes people join and they say, oh, I belong, and they don't re-up. And really, the pools of money that support this place are dues, our annual fund, a few grants, and some store income and tour income. And of course, that last year took a beating, except for books out of the store, I think did all right. But so we're very dependent upon that. We always balance our budget. We're frugal. We take good care of our assets. We've made some good financial decisions. Thank you, Alden. And it's producing results for what we're doing with the environment, for the endowment. And it's really important, and we cherish each and one of you and hope that you will continue to support this organization as you see fit. All righty, back to my agenda here. Let's see, we've done those and the tribute. Okay. Oh, I get a chance to do something kind of special right now. Very rarely, but sometimes I want to recognize somebody in a special way that has not been recognized before, and for what they have done for the Alden Kindred. And there's a gentleman in this group today that some of you know and some of you don't know, but you should know about him. He walked into this place a lot of times, but when I became the president, he walked in, and we have become partners in crime, if you will, of developing what we can do with this place. He's an architect. His name is Bill Thayer. He's sitting over there, and that's why I made sure Desiree got you here to this meeting today. And this way, okay. Well, Bill, come on up here. You have to come up and stand next to me. It's just the way it is. We've been doing this now for 6 years, right? Bill is always there. If we have a problem with the house, he's there with his thought and insight. If he wrote, he made the original sketches and plans for expansion that we've changed a few times, of course. Women always change their mind. But he was the the steady rock there, helping us and encouraging us to move forward and keep going. And I, for one, totally appreciate that. And our relationship has been terrific. And I just wanted to acknowledge this with a special award today by presenting you with the new Duxbury book. I don't think you have it. If you do, you let us know and we'll find another one. But also just a little certificate for Bill William S. Thayer, who now moved out of Duxbury after all this time. He now lives in Marshfield. We'll forgive him, Tory country that is, right? For outstanding volunteer service on behalf of the Alden House Historic Site to help preserve this national historic landmark. Nobody is more deserving of this award than Bill Thayer, especially for you.
Polly. Now, just as a short word.
Come on. I knew
It has been sheer delight the whole time. As a little fella, I'd come up here and the then Mrs. Alden and my mother would be in the front room playing bridge, and I was told to go get lost somewhere for an hour or two. And I'd absolutely delighted just poking around. Then later on in high school, little high school by the sea, knew the house was here and we'd go over and smoke cigarettes by the frog pond. So, but that was, we've dropped that habit long ago. But this has remained what I would call the very anchor for the town of Duxbury. Go over to Standish Shore and see where Miles first located his house here. Then read about the history of the families who have occupied and sustained the initial spirit that the Pilgrims brought with them. It's absolutely something that stays with you. It sticks like Gorilla Glue. And you know what? The number of people who cherish what the Pilgrims brought is going to be a lasting and sustaining virtue of our soils. So it's wonderful to see year after year this place, the people who support it, sustaining it. And you can be sure there is a core of people who will remain solid, just like those enormous stones holding up that heavy timbered wood frame. It's something we all share. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, moving right along, and we are moving right along. Time. A little more breeze coming through. Yeah, a little bit. Okay. Most importantly, you know, we have to elect new board people. There we go. Most importantly, we have to elect new board people every year. We have 3-year terms, and I invite you to think about this because we're always looking for people who might want to serve. And now, especially now, since Zoom and everything else, we have a ton of meetings by Zoom. So John Alden in Georgia can join us, and you in Florida or wherever you're going to be can join us, maybe Duxbury. You know, it's given us a tool to allow more of you to be more actively involved. So if people are interested in serving on a committee or serving on the board, you should let me know and I'll filter it over to the nominating committee. And next year is a year we have a lot of people retiring off the board. So it's a good time to think about that. And so if you're interested, see me or write to me or tell Desiree, and we'll get all the information we need, and the strength of the board will continue. Thank you. Now, saying that, we have some nominations today, and Christopher Lee is going to do that for us. Thank you very much, Christopher. You have a great speaking voice, so it's wonderful.
Hello again. So on behalf of the nominating committee, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our 4 new members of the board of directors. 2, I should say, are returning board members, and 2 are entirely new to the Alden Kindred board, 1 with a caveat. So returning to the board after a brief period is Tom Mccarthy, who is the head of the history department at the U.S. Naval Academy. He's been a member of the Alden Kindred since 1971, and he has been our historian for a number of years as well. I don't know, do we have him? We do not have him with us today, but he'll be taking part in the further actions of the board of directors. As well, we have Paul Clemente. Paul is rejoining the board after a short period, and Paul has a distinctive mission among Alden descendants, and particularly the Jonathan Alden descendants. Paul represents in an organization called the Society of the Cincinnati, Judah Alden, a revolutionary officer and hero. Paul's grandfather was born here at the Alden homestead, and he is a very able representative of both Pilgrim Aldens and Revolutionary Aldens. We also have Peter Randall joining the board. Pete's mother, Pat, became a member of the Alden Kindred in 1964, and sadly passed away earlier this year in May. But she spent 57 years with the Alden Kindred and 40 as a board or advisory member and treasurer of this organization. Do we have Peter with us? Who apparently had a COVID exposure and is not with us today, but we look forward to seeing him. And with us today, we have Jennifer Sinsagalli, who is joining the board, and many of you may know her as J.L. Rose, the author of Before the Mayflower, which was a historical fiction published last year or the year before?
400th anniversary edition was last year.
The 400th anniversary edition was last year. So this is an exciting story of the Mayflower and its passengers and the Aldens as well, or the Mullenses and Aldens. Jennifer researched and studied up on that in Leiden, and excitingly will be running the Leiden Marathon this year to benefit the Leiden American Pilgrim Museum. But we look forward to welcoming her to the Alden Kindred board.
Jennifer, where are you? I can't see. Oh, there she is. You were behind the sign. I couldn't see you. I said, where is she? Did she stand up? So that's Jennifer. Welcome. We really appreciate your willingness to serve. So now the slate has been put before you, and I'd ask if anybody has any further nominations from the floor. Are there any nominations from the floor? Are there any nominations from the floor?
Move the slate.
You move the slate. Is there a second to moving the slate? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Well, you're on board. Thank you very much. We're moving right along in this. Desiree has comments about her role here, and then I have comments about the Kindred. And then we're going to have the traditional Alden photo up on the hill, in the sun. Get ready. At high noon. Okay, so we're moving along very well, but thank you very much. And I would introduce Desiree Mobed, but she needs no introduction. She is everywhere, always calmly getting through things. And I'm like one of these people, and it's really our leadership team is good because we complement each other that way. She'll tap me on very calmly on the shoulder and say, no, you need to do this. I said, okay, and so she came aboard. But within 2 or 3 months after I became president, it was very clear to us that we needed somebody with some very strong program skills, which describes Desiree to a T, a vast history of working and a passion for history. But now she's got a new passion. The passion is the Aldens. She's not an Alden. She's close, but she can't get there. But she's just so much an Alden that I think it's just by osmosis transformed. And you should pick which child that you want to come from. Oh, no. Oh, she's an honorary Alden. I like the oozing better. I think she really has absorbed this place and it becomes her. And she's the one that gets all these reenactors. She's very well known in historical circles around. And if you were here on Thursday night for the Speak presentations, and we honored Jane Talmadge from Duxbury, who headed Duxbury 2020, and we honored Donna Curtin from Pilgrim Hall. So a lot of people who work in Pilgrim area were here. And when we announced Desiree, the applause was resounding. She is well liked among her peers. She's loved by us. And you can tell us what kind of a year you had. All righty. Yes.
Thank you all very much. That was quite an introduction, Pauline. I appreciate that. So Pauline and I have been at this now for 3 days. And I want to tell you that we have become less dressed as the days went on. We started out with galoshes and heavy raincoats, and here we are in sundresses and sandals. We've made progress. I do want to tell you there is hope for the air to move through the tent. We were trying to wait till the sun got really over the tent before we took the sides off here for hope a little more comfort. But fans, rental fans, are one of the casualties of COVID. Let me just tell you, they're not available, among many other things. But that's okay, because we have a brand new podium we had to buy, because that's not available either. But anyway, I want to welcome you all here. It is, I can't tell you, we had Peggy Baker say this on Thursday, and she said it so well. Here we are, gathered together in person, not Zoom, not remote. We're here, and you are all here with your cousins and your family and your friends. And I mean, it is absolutely a thrill. It was a thrill when we first got the first reservations coming in and realizing, I think it was one from Arizona. I was like, oh my gosh, they're really going to come. This is going to be wonderful. But anyway, I also just wanted to mention another thing that Peggy mentioned on Thursday, and that is, and her husband Jim mentions this too, that yes, the Pilgrims arrived in Plymouth in November of 1620, but they had to get through 1621, and that's where we are. 400, the real 400 years. So this is the real anniversary. And Jim Baker said so. So we get to celebrate it. Anyway, so do we have, wait a second, we're supposed to have some pictures. Hey, Jeff? Jeff, do we have our presentation? Okay, we're getting there. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started because there are a couple of notes that I saw just briefly I wanted to make as some of these presentations went along. We're going to be starting, I was certainly going to mention our wonderful video, but Adrian today is wearing a lovely sundress. When you watch that video today, she's wearing a heavy coat. And during the summer when, it's been hot in the barn and I'm looking at you in your gray coat, I'm thinking, I don't care if it was freezing. We should have dressed you lighter. But that's a wonderful video, and I hope you have a chance to check it out. I also wanted to make a comment about the Dorking video, which had a lot of, as you noticed, a lot of noise background, but it struck us that, it may not have been cars back 400 years ago, but it would have been wagons and horses going by, because that was Priscilla's home. And it was right in downtown Dorking, and it would have been noisy. So it just sort of helped set the scene. All right, so here we are at the Alden reunion. And I guess we have to do the turn the slide here. But anyway, here you are on the spot of your ancestors and those two survivors that I am, thanks to all of you who've done so much to help get us through this very, very difficult year. Our members, our friends, and our Duxbury community. We couldn't have done it without you to keep this site open and to keep programs going. And that was no mean feat during this COVID-19 pandemic for a small organization like this. We have an intrepid, as you know, leader who never says no, even when it comes to haunted Halloween events, and a wonderful board to support. So the Halloween event has come up already today. And I have to tell you that we did actually have one last year. It has been a Duxbury tradition, I think, for 18 years. And I've had students come and tell us that they almost feel like they were raised on it. So thank goodness this year we had some wonderful volunteers to help pull it off. At one point during the night, we did do it 2 nights, there was a frazzled mother. And I thought, gee, I've seen that costume a lot tonight. So what's up with this? And I found out that she said, you know what, I know we were only supposed to stay an hour and I'm really sorry, but this is the first time that my kids have been able to gather with their friends from the neighborhood in several months. And they're outside running around the maze, having a ball. I said, go for it. Just keep your masks on. So anyway, okay, next slide, please. So we've also, many of you all, I recognize those wonderful names that I've heard on Zoom, I've seen on Zoom, and we certainly have developed this part of our outreach. It's certainly been the goal of the Alden Kindred and the strategic plan to be able to share the story with the world. And I would say that's one of the good things about this COVID pandemic. And we very much appreciate all the people who have supported us, from Randall, Charlton, to the other living history reenactors and so forth. And now I see Jane Talmadge in the back. Jane, can you come a little bit closer? Because the next slide. Next slide. Okay, yep, we'll skip through that one, sorry. Yep, skip through that one, come back to that one, sorry. Oh, never mind. We're gonna have Jane anyway. Jane, can you show everyone where you are? All right, there she is. Jane in the back, yep. Jane is she's the president of our Duxbury 2020 committee here in town. Responsible for promoting the Pilgrim story. And it is through Jane's efforts that we have our wonderful Duxbury 2020 book that was published this year. Many of you all I know have gotten it. It helped boost our online sales to really a record number. And Jane just happens to be here with several more copies. It is a phenomenal history book incorporating 12 essays with historians and local scholars. And in it, even if you think you've learned the Pilgrim story, you will find new information. So please see Jane and check it out. It's absolutely wonderful. All right. Oh, thank you. That's it. Okay, we'll move to the next one. Oh, okay. How could we forget this? A month ago, Janet Rich, who cannot be here today, is got to be the volunteer arm twister of the world, and told us that, yes, we were going to be in the Duxbury parade. And so thank goodness to our Delano friends and our Alden friends, kids who showed up from Connecticut. The Aldens were well represented thanks to Duxbury 2020's help. And we had an awesome time. I'll sadly tell you, we did not win first prize, but I think we gave out the most candy. All right, next slide. You're gonna switch it. That's all that matters. That's what I was told. They were very generous. Yes, we beat the, oh, I know, but I was afraid to say that because I know there's some Howlands in this group. All right, we'll go ahead and switch on. All right, so 2 nights ago, right? 2 nights ago. Yeah, we had our wonderful Speak for Thyself Again event. Jane Talmadge was one of our recipients, along with 3 other amazing women, Donna Curtin, Mary Huth, who's a librarian from the University of Rochester, who promoted Susan B. Anthony, and Lynn McKinney-Leidig. Absolutely phenomenal women. It's a signature event. And again, the Alden Kindred was there, and we determined to have it. And thanks to Anne Kaboozy, who's gone to get the food, we were able to very successfully pull that off. And I mean, that was tough because it was torrential here. Go ahead, next one. All right, I also just wanted to point out a couple of things, and then we're gonna wrap this up. But this past year, we had a big family started walking down the driveway, and we thought, oh, visitors. Oh, this is exciting. And so we walked out to say hello, and people were supposed to register for tours at that year. And they showed up. I knew they hadn't registered. And they walked up and they said, I'm John Alden. I said, oh, okay. John Alden always gets a tour, whether he's registered or not. And he said, I'm John Alden and I lived in this house. I thought, oh, you know what? COVID, it must be getting to me. I really haven't heard this before. But he actually was John Bradford Alden. He's the grandson of Charles Alden, who in the 1920s leased this house and opened it to visitors. He also opened the famous log cabin tea room, which is how that little building behind Alden House actually got its start. But that wasn't all he was bringing. He also brought or sent us pieces of the tea set that was used in the log cabin tea room. And that was such a thrill. That's always been sort of a fascinating place. Visitors, you would love this. I don't think it was air conditioned, but you had tea and coffee. You had lobster dinners, of course, sandwiches and all the things served on this apparently beautiful tea set with napkins with log cabins sewn onto them. And of course, the waitresses were in pilgrim attire. Now, the only catch to that is I don't think that, and the Alden Kindred later realized pilgrims did not live in log cabins. So when it went down, it went down. All right, next slide. Oh, that's the end. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank you all so much for your support. We have a full afternoon of activities. We have the New Plymouth Guard. We have our archaeology exhibit that is on display that shows the original pieces from John and Priscilla's house. And if you want to find out more about your ancestors, go into the L. We also have a newly published catalog that has stunning photography, and it was beautifully written by our guest curator, Stephen O'Neill. I really highly recommend it as a special treat. The woman who refinished the John Alden it's a reproduction snap-ons based on the original pieces, is there today, and we'll tell you all about it, along with one of our presenters who's going to be talking about historic beverages. Doesn't that sound nice and cool and refreshing? And she has lots of ice, so I think it will be cool and refreshing. All right, I want to thank you all for your time, and again, enjoy the day.
Always carrying something.
Oh, I know.
The board wants you to carry this home. All your hard work on
Thank you, Carl.
Oops.
Yes, I do. Yes, it did.
This is,
We'll
Amy.
make sure that she mentions that.
What?
I think Amy
What am I
may be
missing?
here, that the parade honors ring.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm just told, Rink reminded me, I did not know, I wasn't at the July 4th parade, but were you on it there today? This past July 4th?
Legion band led the parade. I was right behind it, so I led the whole parade.
Oh, okay. For those in the back of the room, Rink was at the parade. He was right behind the honor guard. So he led the entire parade, and it's a big parade in Duxbury. And they only told us they were going to have it about 3 weeks before. So congratulations, Alden Rink Ringquist. And if you have not met Rink used to be an executive director here a long time ago, but everybody in Duxbury knows who Rink is. And Rink is Rink, right? So come by today. He's sitting up here and say hello. Okay, thank you. Is Amy Beth Andredzik here? Is Amy? No, she's not here. Okay. Well, I just have a few things I'd like to say besides thank you to Desiree. I'd like to thank Carol. Carol, thank you for your husband, Peter, and thank you for all that you do for the Alden Kindred. It's a funny story. She moved to town. Well, her husband had a church that he moved to from Connecticut, and she was a rug hooker. So the rug hookers were they here at the time. Not a big enough podium. The rug hookers used to meet here. So she found that out. So she came over to do the rug hooking and do that. And meanwhile, she went down to the office and she said, "Do you need any help down here? I'm looking for a part-time job." And I thought, just like you walked in today, Adrian, at the moment, she walked in at the exact same moment 6 years ago. And she's been wonderful. So thank you, Carol, so much. I'd like to acknowledge board members that are here and a couple online. I think maybe Rich Holmes is online, and I think Russell Rockwell's online. John Alden, we can't call him Junior because he's got a father that's J.W. Alden, he's John W. Alden, son's John W. Alden, there's 18 of them. But the one that's the attorney in Atlanta at this point in time is serving on the board. He was here yesterday with his family. And sitting in front of me is Tom Delano. And he's, I think should be membership tier. He did a great job with that. Alden Kaiser, of course, is an officer and treasurer. Adrian is still on the board until another hour. And where am I? Who else is here from the board? Oh, Evelyn. Evelyn, the secretary. Yeah, I said Alden. I am looking for others that may be around. Well, some were here the other night as well, but all of them have done what they needed to do. And it's been helpful to me as the president to have a board that's functioning, and functioning, I think, even better because of Zoom. So that's a good thing. I have to tell you that someone here has written a book, Unwavering Success. We hope this means that the campaign's going to be successful, but that's Alden Porter. And I'm sending it back over to him because he said he's going to sign it to me. He hasn't signed it to me yet. So can you deliver that over to that gentleman? Oh, what's the book? Oh, she's going to share it now. Okay, there, and once we're through here, when you need to stand up, take a break, go up to the silent auction, please. There's a small video being shown out here that it will be interesting to you, so you can stop by and see that. I'd like to say to the people that are on my advisory board, they do not meet so much as a group, but they are there. Linda Willman's here today from that group, and we appreciate it because we keep you informed and you keep getting in touch with us and attending, and I appreciate that a lot. It was a difficult year, but we were able to apply for those loans to help us keep our staff, and we got 2 of them. And so we were able to keep our staff on duty the whole year. We never closed. We had visitors come and say, "Oh my God, thank God you're open. There's not another pilgrim site open anywhere." Plymouth was totally shut down, but we persevered and we said, we're keeping open and we're applying the rules, and it worked because we're a small entity. So thanks to everybody that helped in that. I think we've had a good year. We delayed our announcement of the campaign. It was supposed to be announced in 2020, more appropriately, but we delayed it for a year because of the fact that we weren't having an in-person annual reunion. So we launched it in April. And as you know, and it has been reported that Alden, a very generous donor, is in the position to have offered to match your donations. So should you care to make a donation before the end of this year in December, that donation will be matched. So it's like giving double. And I say again that we have some small and medium-sized and large donors, and it's imperative that everybody take part. We just heard that we have 2,200 members. You know, if everybody on that list gave $100, you got 220,000. It multiplies. Your Facebook pages, if everybody gave $10, you'd have another 30,000. And leave it to Alden and myself and another group of people that are helping to kind of go after the deeper pockets, but we need the help of everybody to make this happen. And I think always that the number of contributions you have indicates success, because it means that you're reaching a broad base of support. And that's so very important in a small organization. Things have changed for us since we changed our rules about membership. Anybody who wants to support this National Historic Landmark can be a member. They don't have to be an Alden. And then if you want to go the additional step to become a lineage member, you can. And if you don't, because you don't want to do all that work, you're still a voting member of the organization. That was a big plus. It was a good change. And we continue to review our laws and our bylaws and all these other things to make changes that will bode well for us for the future. And the membership one was key, because when I first got here and we first were going to buy the property next door, I looked at a HUD loan, and that's because the federal government. And they looked at us and said, we sent it to legal and you're a fraternal organization. Sorry, see you later. I said, we're a National Historic Landmark. It didn't make any difference. And that's one of the reasons that we opened the membership up. And we need to, because we have this responsibility to preserve this house forever. And it's not easy. And the story is even more important. Today, I won't be around to see it, but 25, 30 years from now, they're going to look at this period of time. They're going to call it something. I don't know what they're going to call it, but they're going to call it something. Some sort of visceral change in the United States in a struggle to keep democracy alive. Well, if our ancestors didn't struggle to keep democracy alive, we wouldn't be here today. And so if we want to be strong and have a democracy that works, we got to tell our story, and we have to tell it and include how we dealt with and intersected with the native peoples that were here, and they're good stories. And they nothing bad about those stories at all until about 50 years later, when the tribes started warring and people were taking sides, us on one, some on another. But basically, we have a story that once you step out of New England, people don't know about. If you ask a child in school today, if they know what the Mayflower is, they think you're going to pick it out of the ground. Anyone under age 40. So we have a task. And I think you'll all say that it's very important that we keep this story alive. And that's what this is all about. Plus, we're going to do it in a kind of a little fancier way with more space and more to offer to people to get them to come in. And the electronic part of it is key, because I don't know about you, how many of you have grandchildren that the phone is implanted in their hand, right? And it's not just grandchildren. Again, 40 and under, they can't live without them. So we're going to meet them on their ground. So this is a good time. I'm encouraged by this year. 2 years ago, the last time we had a in-person thing, I said, dare we do this? And we responded, yes. Okay, so now we've dared and we're into the doing. So help us out and enjoy the rest of this day. This day has not even begun. We have the Plymouth Guard here. We have the silent auction going on. And most mainly, we have the Bonji's chicken coming, which is a tradition for us here. We have fed you all very well for 3 days. Yes. Yes, we're going to have the roll call. Do you want to do oldest, youngest, and furthest away first? And then who's doing the roll call?
Alden, and we have Marty. Where's Marty? Marty's going to help.
Marty and Alden. And we're going to do the roll call by names of children of John and Priscilla Alden. But before we do that, we always honor the oldest person here. And I have a thought about who that might be. Because is anyone over 93? Anybody here older than 93? You're a youngster. You're not, no. Is anyone here 93? Yes, she is. Stand up. I think she's had this honor for several years. And funny thing, if you look at the Alden pictures of the last 4 or 5 years, she's always sitting in the front row. She looks exactly the same. It's unbelievable. It's in the genes, we hope, for everybody, right? Okay. Well, thank you so much. And furthest away, let me tell you, I was blown away talking to people who came early. And I was amazed at the gumption and the strength of women. We have a lady here from California who drove from San Diego in her camper with her lovely service dog that's retired that she takes care of as a member of her family, all by herself. Where are you? There she is. Oh my goodness. Oh. Now, I know a visit to here is transformational, but that's the bee's knees. Let me just tell you, look at that. Pilgrim, welcome Pilgrim. Okay, and then I started talking to this gal. I said, where are you from? South Dakota. She said, oh my goodness. Yeah, I drove over and I wanted to see Maine and down the coast and to Massachusetts. I'm going home via Texas with my Chihuahua. Where's my Chihuahua carrying person from, there you are. So I thought maybe, what that would be the furthest away. However, I think we have someone here from Seattle. Where are you? Seattle, stand up. So I said to him, did you fly into Boston? She said, no, we drove. So Alden's are crisscrossing this country like ants, but I would wager that Seattle is further than San Diego, but I'm not sure. Who's going to look that up on their iPhone? Somebody's going to look that up and see if it's. San Diego's for San Diego, the Pilgrim wins it. All right. Yes. Well, we've got the oldest, but we have to have the youngest. And for a half an hour, I thought it was me, Trevor. However, Trevor, you've been outdone by Kaz. And there's the little girl. Where's the little girl? I didn't see a little girl. Oh, how old are you, sweetie? She's 6 years old. Can you come up here and we'll say hello with Mama or Grandma? Hello there. All the way from Illinois, and your name is Ellie. This is Ellie. Let's stand over here. We'll take a picture. There we go. There's Ellie. And later on, when we line up for the picture, we're going to have Ellie stand with you. Okay? So 6 and 96. It's 93. It's hot in here. Okay, so I think, does anybody have anything else they would like to bring up to this meeting? Or can we adjourn the meeting? Are we all set? Yeah, well, they're taking the roll call. Yeah. Where are they? Where's the guys that are doing it?
Alden, Marty.
Okay. Come on, you're going to count, right?
And I have to do it online, so let me go on.
Okay. She's going to launch this online because we have a couple hundred people watching online and they can vote online through the Zoom webinar and they can tell us which son or daughter they're related to. So she will do that. Christopher, come on up here as the genealogist. You're being put into action again. Okay, you call the names of the siblings.
Shall we go?
People present.
Order of birth.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready? So the way this works is we have a couple of counters out there. Marty Boberts and are you doing? Oh,
Yep. Christopher, they're still polling online.
okay. Keep polling.
Okay. Where's our Jonathans? Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I see. Okay. They're coming in.
Hold on, hold on. I don't want to.
Yep, they're still polling, Christopher, sorry.
They can keep on coming in.
Yep.
Do we need an explanation of what's going to go on here? Is that helpful?
No, I think people know.
Okay. People know.
You have to count Ann, Ken, and Jen for Jonathan's. They're picking the food out.
Got it.
Three Jonathans are picking up the food.
Who's the first one?
I don't know. Should it be Joseph today? So they're polling, so they've got something going on.
Yeah, I think we're good now.
Okay. So now, for those of you attending today in person,
Oh, no.
get ready. We're going to start with the descendants of Elizabeth Alden Peabody.
I got 7 up here. I got 7. That's 9 total.
7 and 9.
No, 9 total.
9 total.
Yes.
And add 3. We've got 12. Okay. The descendants of Joseph Alden. Look at that.
All right, and I have,
Okay, I got so 22.
Okay. Desiree, you were going to chime in there as well?
yeah. Okay. I have, are we on Jonathan? I'm sorry, Joseph, is that where you are?
We started with Elizabeth and we just
Oh,
got...
Elizabeth. Okay, I have the most Elizabeth descendants. So I'm seeing 7 Elizabeth descendants. So add that.
Okay. And then on Joseph,
So we had 22 in
Add 3, Christopher.
22 plus 3. Okay. Next, we're going to go with Ruth Alden Bass.
And I have 4.
Wow. 9, so it's 15 in the room. Oh, wait, I missed Chad. 16 in the room.
16 and 4.
Oh, right there. Paper plates, napkins, and the basket of, wait a second.
All right. Fourth, we're going to go with Rebecca Alden Delano.
I have 2 Rebecca. I'm sorry, 1 Rebecca.
Come on, Delanos. All right, next we have Jonathan Alden. 2, 3, 4. We got a crew here.
7 in the 10th.
No, I don't have any Jonathans, Christopher.
Okay. Next, we're going to go with David Alden.
How many you got? Plus 2, 11 in the 10th. There's some over here? I got it.
11 in the tent. And Desiree, what do we have on the poll? We'll get back to Desiree on that. Let's go with Sarah Alden Standish.
And I have 2 Sarahs.
Okay, we have 10 in the 10th.
And my father by the road, 13.
Make that 11 in the 10th.
11 in the 10th plus 2. And Desiree, we also asked for David.
No, I don't have any no David, sadly.
For David. Well, they're well represented here.
Oh, good.
And John Alden Jr.
And I don't have any John. Oh, wait a minute. No, I don't have any Johns.
1 in the 10th.
What does she look like? She's an Alden. Okay, that gives us our count. So once again, just like lineage verifications this year, Joseph takes the lead with 23 between poll and in the House. Humorously enough, we verified more than that adds up to. We had 34 verified, but we've got 23 here and on our online poll. Next, in a dead tie, the descendants of Elizabeth and of Ruth. $20 each. And then we have Sarah's descendants with 12. You Standishes. Followed by Jonathan's descendants with 10. That's great for us. And we have 1 each. Excuse me, we have 11 descendants of David, but they're all here. And then finally, we have 1 each represented, 1 online, descendant of Rebecca Alden Delano, and 1 present descendant of John Alden Jr. But we do manage to have the whole family all together. Thank you, John Alden Jr. descendant, and thank you, Rebecca descendants. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you for stepping into that role today. We have prolific authors here. We're going to hear from Jim Baker in a little while after lunch, but we also have Marion Carlson here today with The Adventures of Plymouth Plantation, with her books outside that she's signing and selling, and The Mayflower Revelations by Andrew Bailey, and his wife over here they're manning a booth outside, womaning a booth. And here's the 2 books, and you can get them out there.
Yes. Oh, you want to talk about plays? I'd like to mention a play that I wrote called Young Pilgrims that was inspired by being a member of the Alden Kindred. It's going to be running in Duxbury, just down the street, all next summer. So I hope we can go as a group. The main characters are John Alden and Priscilla Mullins and other young pilgrims.
Right. Thank you so much. And that is something that was seriously delayed by COVID, because we were going to do that. We were going to premiere that play yesterday and last year, but I'm glad it's coming next year. Thank you. Get better, get your leg healed. We're not going to say break a leg, but have a good show. All right. Hearing no other comments, I will gavel the 121st meeting of the Alden Kindred to a close.
Going pretty well. There's like a few people. Oops.
I think you're right, the meeting was at 10:30. Just ended it.
Linda, I didn't see you when you first came.
I don't see Carolyn Bingham here. He is going to be driven by somebody. Yeah.
Good night.